Hi, I'm Aaron Hallett, reporter for MuscleTalk.co.uk. I'm here with IFBB legend Shawn Ray. Shawn, what's your feelings of the events unfolding today?
It was great. I mean, obviously with the first time show, it's one of those things where you want to kind of see what's going to happen. But these guys turned up and they meant business. And of course, the overall winner from the light heavyweight division, Sammy, representing the country of Bahrain, did not disappoint. I saw him 2 weeks ago at the Columbus, Ohio, where he was third. He's had a very good career, and I think this was like the icing on the cake for him. And rightfully, he deserved to walk off with the Amateur Olympia Championship. So now we've got a couple hours to kill. Looking forward to the first UK Pro Championships, which is what I'm here for. I'm going to MC the finals tomorrow night and find out whether or not Branch Warren has improved on his victory from 2 weeks ago in Columbus, Ohio. But overall, it looks like it's off to a very good start. The expo next door has got a lot of foot traffic in there, so I'm sure the sponsors are excited. I'm just hoping that some people show up for this thing and support what Simon Fan and, of course, Neil Hill and James Collier are trying to do out here in the UK. I think it's a great concept, combining the expo with the bodybuilding and bringing on the Amateur Olympia with the help of Robin Chang from Weider AMI. So this is very well organized, and I think it's being well supported by the industry.
Excellent. So how important do you think it is for UK bodybuilding to have a pro show back on home soil again?
Well, I think any country that can stage a pro show, it's huge. So, I mean, the people from London and the surrounding cities, I think there was a little bit of a organizational delay going on to get the word out to the masses. I think that with the inclusion of the post-contest coverage from this, more and more people will find out that this is here. And I see this Amateur Olympia growing to the likes of the Amateur Arnold. 4 years ago, the Amateur Arnold barely had 100 competitors. This year they had almost 400 athletes from around the world. This has the makings of the same type of an event, and I think when the people find out what they missed, the ones that didn't show up, I guarantee next year they'll probably be here as well. I think the pro side is going to become more competitive because these guys are opening their wallets. They're giving away $50,000 US to the open men, $20,000 US to the 202 division, and I think next year they're talking about adding a female component to this weekend. So right now, they, like any promoter, and I know I've taken my lumps promoting pro bodybuilding shows. It's costly, it's expensive, it's exhausting, but you learn from your mistakes, and next year you build on top of those. So I expect this contest to be around for a while.
Fantastic. With the amount of pros that are walking about today, who would you tip for the 202s and who would you tip for the open class?
Well, I mean, obviously this contest has Branch Warren's name written on it. He just won the Arnold Classic. It's the second biggest contest in the world competitively, even though it's invitational and they didn't have the defending champion Kai Green there and Phil Heath. Rightfully so, Branch Warren lived up to the hype. He's been second in the world at the Olympia before, and he's beaten all of those guys. So coming here, he's not going to be challenged or threatened as much because there's no Dennis Wolf to push him. Of course, there's no former Olympian Dexter Jackson up there. But yet, Johnny Jackson came on very strong a week ago over in Australia. Pushed Dennis Wolf and got second place, and I think we're going to find out what traveling does to the human body, because he went from Ohio to Australia, back to Texas, and now here. Johnny, we're going to find out whether or not he can shake the water retention problem.
Because you used to travel a lot, obviously, when you was competing. How hard is it to hold the conditioning with all the long-distance flights? Is it the water that you find hardest?
Well, I didn't have that problem because I never did those tours. I competed mostly in the Olympia or the Arnold, but I do know that Johnny's a seasoned veteran when it comes to traveling. Branch has been around, and he's a seasoned professional as well. So these guys kind of know how to manage it. I saw Branch yesterday, and he doesn't look anything short of what he did in Columbus, Ohio, which does not bode well for the competitors, including Johnny Jackson. But there's other guys that may have improved. I know that Rolly Winkler didn't place where he wanted to. He can suck it up and suck down and surprise a lot of people. Of course, Ronnie Rockwell was 6th at the Arnold Classic, so he could actually leapfrog over several guys and push for the top 3 spot, get that Olympia qualification as well. So you got to remember, there's a couple of Olympia qualifications that are available, and these guys are going to come here prepared to do battle. So we already know that Branch is qualified, and of course Johnny qualified a week ago. That 3rd place spot is vital for one of these athletes that are here to get to the Mr. Olympia in September. So this is a very important competition for some guys.
Excellent. A little bit off topic now. I've been on MD.com a few times on the forums, and now and again you get involved with the banter with the members.
Sure.
Would we ever see Shawn Ray back on stage ever again?
Yeah, I mean, that's for the members to talk about. For as far as I've gone on record, I emptied my cup on the bodybuilding stage years ago. This will mark the 10th year in September that I've been retired. I took a few years off. I had to bury my father last summer, and the last few years of my dad's life was devoted to him and being with him. He was my best friend. I've got total closure on that situation, but I just got back in the gym in December. kind of took away a little bit of the bloat, but I still haven't got on a diet. I enjoy, what the fans understand is I enjoy the training more than the competition. The competition was a byproduct of the job. I had to compete in order to sustain various sponsorships, but my passion was in the gym, beating up on guys like Flex Wheeler and Chris Cormier and taking them to school because I was the smallest guy, not the strongest, but my satisfaction for me was laying those guys out in the gym. I just had to get up there and take some lumps from some of the bigger guys like Ronnie J, and of course Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates.
Yes.
But I don't have any aspirations to go and reprove what I've already proven. My career was full. And that means we're getting ready for the prejudging tonight. And again, I'm here to do the live play-by-play on musculardevelopment.com, and of course MC the show tomorrow night.
So would you say you're more happier holding the microphone and obviously being interviewed behind it rather than as a competitor?
Well, I always said I was much more than a bodybuilder, and I think what I'm doing in life today reflects that. I mean, I've always been a promoter of the sport. I've been a fan first and foremost, and doing what I'm doing now, I find greater satisfaction because I'm able to highlight the people that are doing the business, and my track record spoke for itself. It was very selfish what I did as a pro bodybuilder. That was for Shawn Ray. What I'm doing now, I think, is for the people that can't make it to England, report honestly, constructively towards the professionals out there that can use some constructive criticism. I've been on the stage, I've been on the diet, I've competed against the best in the world. My responsibility to the fans now is to give that authoritative inside look behind the scenes, as well as being honest and open with the fans, what they're seeing, the athletes, how they are being viewed, and report. That's what I like doing, report, promote, and I've been working on my Evolution of Bodybuilding documentary right now, which is my biggest project to date. Bringing all the Olympians on the same celluloid, including Joe Weider. I interview him next Wednesday. He's 91 years old.
Wow.
And I'll interview his nephew, Eric Weider, the son of the late founder of the IFBB, Ben Weider. And I'll have all these champions talking about their time on the Olympia stage, and then I'll have it colored up with some of the commentators, which are editors of magazine and photographers of the magazines. They'll talk about the times that these guys were competing in, the political climate, the financial aspect of it, and I think that will be my greatest contribution to bodybuilding by the time it's all said and done. And I'm hoping to look for a December or January 12 release next year, and that's really exciting times for me because I just got done meeting Larry Scott, and I held the Olympia crown that he got in 1965, the year I was born. I held the Sandow Trophy of Samir Banu, who won it in '83. Chris Dickerson, I'm looking forward to interviewing him again in Tampa, Florida. He won it in '82. And of course, Dorian's got 6 trophies that I held. So this for me is bringing that childhood dream of when I was 17 years old as a bodybuilder wanting to be an Olympian. It's now putting me right in front of these guys, and I'm bringing this opportunity home for the fans that missed that era. There's a lot of people that missed the era of the legends like Frank Zane. I mean, this is exciting times for me as a fan and a bodybuilder.
Reflecting back on the 90s bodybuilding to modern bodybuilding as we have in the 2000s, with the level conditioning versus the size and proportions, how do you think everything's going in that direction?
Well, I mean, I'm no longer as enthusiastic about the look of bodybuilding. I came up in the most competitive age, and of course, if you ask Frank Zane in the 70s, he'll say it was in the most competitive age, and Lee Haney will say the 80s were the most competitive age. But I think arguably, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, everyone will agree that the 90s, I think, was the golden era. Dorian will agree to that too, because we had so many first runner-ups, from Flex Wheeler, to Kevin Levrone, Nasser El Sambadi, guys that just couldn't knock out the champion. But that was the size where a time where the size factor came in with Dorian. But the conditioning level of some of those pro bodybuilders we don't see on today's bodybuilding stage, and I think that's kind of been lost on the size factor.
Do you think we'll ever see a book written by Shawn Ray?
A what? A book? That would probably be my last body of work. It's too early. I'm too young to write a book. But when I write the book, it's not going to be necessarily a tell-all book, but I'll write an autobiographical book about my life and times on the stage, behind the scenes, as a promoter, as a fan. I've got great relationships with bodybuilders over various decades. I mean, I remember my first competition, Albert Beckles was guest posing, and he was second place to Lee Haney in the Mr. Olympia when he was like 48 years old. Chris Dickerson, I held his Olympia trophy in my hand when I was 17 years old. Wow. And now that I'm 45 years old, I've probably held almost 20 of the 46 Mr. Olympia trophies in my hands. And who can say that? You know what I mean? I don't think Lee Haney's even held 20 different Olympia trophies in his time in the business. So I've got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and write about, but I think it's not going to be one of those bash bodybuilding, because bodybuilding has been very, very good to me.
Indeed. Looking outside of bodybuilding, you've also done a lot of charitable events as well. Your golf tournaments?
Yes.
Are they still up and running?
I haven't done the golf tournament in a couple of years because of my dad's ailing health, but of course this year now I've got my bearings back up underneath me. We're going to try to bring the bodybuilders together again. I'm looking at a Bowling for Dollars charity coming here in 2011, and the reason I chose bowling is because A, it's not that physical,
yep.
B, because I know these bodybuilders probably can't bowl, so I want to take them out of their comfort zone. They're going to try to use power instead of finesse, and that's what we found in the golf. So bringing these bodybuilders together in an arena that they're foreign to, and then seeing the money being raised to contribute in some form or fashion to a charity, I think that's important, and that's where my mindset is to give back. And there's a lot of bodybuilders out there that don't have deep pockets, but you know, the nickels and dimes add up to dollars and cents.
Every little helps.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So,
thank you for the interview.
Right on.
I'm Aaron Hallett, reporter for MuscleTalk.co.uk.